After class, one thing we're doing differently this time is we talked about plan and document versus Agile. Because, boy, is Agile popular? How popular is it? So I tried to document it the best I can. So many of the software companies that come here to recruit, large software companies come to recruit, do use Agile. It's not like they're 100% Agile, but I think at many of these companies, Agile is perhaps the most popular. Other thing, we actually survey, we will survey you both in the class and after you leave. A survey we did about people in an industry found that basically 2/3 of them are using Agile and 1/3 are using plan and documents. There was a paper recently that was published that was about distributed projects. So these are geographically distributed programming teams and whether they used Agile or plan and document. And to my surprise, the majority of geographically distributed teams were using Agile because one of the strengths of Agile, is Scrum and informal organizations and like that. So I would have thought this was more difficult, but even then, the majority are using Agile. There's a couple of research organizations that publish these statistics by talking to lots of people. Forrester is one, and they said 45% of the teams that they interviewed in 2009 that Agile was their primarily software development method, and that had increased to 60% in 2012. And Gartner said it was even a larger fraction, that 80% of the teams are primarily Agile teams. They expected that to be true by the end of the year. So Agile is probably the majority for lots of types of software. Probably today, Agile is the most popular development method over plan and document. There's still things that aren't good in plan and document. Armando, at the workshop he went to, banking industry. Banking industry probably there's a lot of regulations and things, and so they're following very tight specifications. Probably safety critical things like airplanes and stuff, that they're probably using it. But with a company like Microsoft that used to be using plan and document methods, even they, with very large software bases, are using Agile techniques. Okay, a big theme for the book from the very beginning has been testing and tools to do that. So this just shows the tools that you've seen so far. We talked about Reek and Flog and Flay about the software metrics, and then of course these lectures for the BDD about Cucumber and Capybara, but underlying that is rack tests to be able to run Capybara. But there's some more, we'll talk shortly about more tools to do testing. And then, so BDD, good and bad, we just talked about some of these on the peer instruction question. It can be difficult to have continuous contact with the customer. What does a company like Microsoft do when they have a tool like Microsoft Office, like Word or something like that, where they have millions of customers? Well, they have a marketing person act as the product owner to speak as the voice of the customer. So they have a person to act as a customer, even though they aren't talking directly to customers. And I mentioned about the bad software architecture, that Beck says is going to happen, and part of this model is refactoring the code and understanding design patterns. It appears that design patterns are more important than programming languages to building good code, and Armando will spend time talking about that. In fact, we had the chair received a complaint letter from a student who'd taken 169, said, well, I liked what you did about software releases and you covered Agile, but you didn't spend enough time on design patterns. So I immediately went and searched his name up into our alumni have taken it. Unfortunately, he took George Netkala's class, not our class. So, but we're spending time on design patterns. But I would agree, design patterns is very important. He was coming back from industry and talking about it. So the model here is these user stories to get all the stakeholders involved. And the user interface, that's a piece of what's going on. And then this amazing thing, tools Cucumber and with Capybara that write tests before coding, and you validate by testing rather than by debugging. So this is a slide that I think Armando showed up before. Debugging sucks, testing rocks. Wouldn't it be great if in some parallel universe that the thing we want to do is we just jump in and start hacking code would work? Wouldn't that be a great universe, the thing you wanted to do, and you just do a little bit of debugging and it works? It's very close. Wouldn't that have been a great universe to be a programmer in? Well, it's, alas, that's not our universe. This is unnatural in X. And so people who've done this a lot eventually come around, right? Because it's just so frustrating. You spend the time doing the fun stuff, writing the code, and then you spend months getting bugs out, right? And you think, pulling out your hair in my case, that's why. Like, there's got to be a better way to do this, right? So people often say there's got to be a better way, but they don't see, here's the better way, right? And so as Armando says, once you've tried, you've done it, all of you have done it the old way. You try the BD and see it works. Wow, when you write the test before you write the code, there's fewer bugs. I don't have to spend my time doing that. There's no turning back, and what we found is 2/3 of our alumni went out there and said the BDD, TDD stuff was very valuable. And what we observed last time, virtually all the students who took it last time, somehow the BDD clicked. Everybody thought, wow, Cucumber, user stories, obviously that's the right way to do it. All right, with that.